People do not fail. The system fails. This stays not price rises. This stays not a slow economy. This stays not people bad with money. This shows what happens when work stops giving results, when food becomes hard to get, when shelter becomes short time, and staying alive needs debt. Across America, people with jobs, education, families, and full days quietly stop trying. Not because they stay lazy, but because hard work no longer leads to better life. When food stores become hard places, when 4 paychecks still stay not enough, when people start living in cars by choice, that stays not a slow economy. That shows a society losing trust in itself. The first place the system breaks stays not the stock market, not house numbers, not government papers. It breaks where staying alive becomes hard to avoid. Food costs stay the first. Clearest warning because they cannot wait, become smaller, or get explained away. You can wait to buy a home. You can wait for medical help. You can put off fixes. You cannot talk with hunger. When food prices move away from pay, truth comes out right away and hard. Over the last few years, food prices have risen roughly 25 to 30%, while middle pay has hardly moved in real value. The result stays not small trouble, it stays pressure. Families must take higher food costs by giving up savings, cutting needed things, or using debt. This stays why food price rises hit harder than house price rises. It takes cash every day, not things owned. It attacks weekly money plans, not long-time plans. Food also shows the lie of choice price rises. You can stop trips. You can stop subscriptions. You cannot stop eating. When everyday foods cross mind price lines, $5 eggs, $7 cereal, $10 ground beef, people do not feel tight, they feel let down. That feeling change matters. Once buyers lose trust in basic prices, trust falls everywhere else. This stays why food price rises become a leading sign, not a following one. It shows that pay has lost its job. In an economy where the middle pay sits near $66,000 while middle yearly living costs come close to $80,000, food becomes the first line that shows the space. Not because it stays the biggest cost, but because it stays the least able to avoid. The answer stays not cutting extra spending anymore. It stays changing and giving up. Cheaper brands, smaller amounts, fewer meals out, then fewer meals. Full stop. When food needs trade-offs with gas, rent, or power, the system has already failed, even if official numbers say different. This pressure grows fast. Food costs do not rise alone. They rise next to energy, moving, insurance, and rent. A family facing an extra $150 to $300 per month in food costs does not change once, it changes forever. That change becomes the new normal, making smaller everything after. This stays where no more lies work. People can ignore money news. They cannot ignore bills. Food stores do not give hope, stories, or future words. They give totals. When totals stop making sense, trust in the system goes away quietly, but not able to change back. And this stays only the start. Because when food shows that pay no longer works, the next truth stays not able to avoid. If pay cannot cover needed things, then work itself has lost its meaning. That knowing does not stay only in food lines. It spreads into housing, work, health, and debt. The warning does not ring loud. It rings weakly at payment. When food shows the space, work stays supposed to fix it. That stays the word. But instead of fixing the break, work now proves it. The moment food stops making sense, people think higher pay will solve the problem. That thinking falls fast. Good jobs still exist on paper. Titles, education, pay, benefits, all there. What stays missing stays buying power. Over the past 10 years, pay rose slowly while costs grew fast. Since 2020, that not match grew big. Real pay stays down roughly 10 to 15%, depending on pay group, while main living costs rose far more. The result stays simple. Pay no longer changes into steady. This stays where job cuts enter the picture, not as a sudden shock, but as a speed up. In 2024 and 2025, job cuts quietly went over 1 million each year, focused in areas once thought safe. Tech money, professional services, media, moving. These stay not circle cuts. They stay built in. Companies make smaller pay lists, while reporting record good money because work stays now treated as a cost to make smaller, not a growth way. That matters because pay growth does not just stop, it goes back. Job cuts increase work supply, weaken talking power, and make normal lower good work. Even those still working feel it right away. Raises go away, extra pay vanish, hours change, and job safe becomes idea only. The food warning from earlier now turns into a paycheck problem. Not because paychecks stopped coming, but because they stopped keeping up. The numbers make this not able to avoid. A middle pay near $66,000 becomes closer to $54,000 to $56,000 after taxes and basic takeaways. Against that, fixed costs, rent, insurance, moving, power take the most. What stays left stays not enough to take rising prices without debt. This stays why work no longer feels safe. It no longer stops shocks, passes them. Big job cuts make this pressure stronger by breaking the false picture of going up. For many years, the belief stayed simple. Work hard, gain skill, move up, that way stays gone. Today's work market looks like a funnel. Full at the bottom, thin at the top, with ways out on the sides. When companies cut, workers do not move up or side. They fall back. This also explains the feeling change happening. People stay not afraid of losing extra things. They stay afraid of losing job. A job that does not give house safe, food steady, or healthcare access stays not a career. It stays open danger when workers see that job cuts can take away years of hard work overnight. Reason to try falls. Work done falls not from lazy, but from not believe. Once pay loses sure, shelter loses forever. Housing stays where the fail of work becomes real. Once paychecks no longer give steady, housing stops being a base and starts becoming a number count. Not where to live, but how to stay alive. Across cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami, New York, and Austin, rents have risen. Big in many areas, rising 30 to 50% over the past few years. Middle rents that once stayed near $1,200 to $1,500 for a simple unit stay now often $2,000 to $3,000 or higher. In outside city and second markets, the way stays same. Short supply and money pressure have pushed prices up across all. This creates what can only stay called stay-alive numbers. Housing costs stay no longer match pay. They stay limits that decide every money choice. To rent a 2-bedroom home at normal check rules needs earning 2 to 3 times the monthly rent, a mark that becomes not possible when pay stays flat and job cuts stay many. The result? Many families find themselves close to the edge of able to pay where a small shock can break the whole setup. The system wants higher pay times exactly when pays become less sure. New rent times bring rises before steady has started. New places price above what renters already fought to pay. The numbers press every family into tighter pieces of spending, leaving no space for surprise. Unlike other costs, housing cannot stay part. You cannot buy half a roof. You must pay full every month or the results come right away. Owning stayed once seen as way out. Good value, steady, money put in, but that safe place has gone away. Home prices in cities like Phoenix, Tampa, Denver, and Charlotte have climbed without stop, with middle values rising 30 to 60% over recent times. For first-time buyers, down payment needs have become not able to pass walls. Even when a buy stays possible, owning holds change. Property taxes change each year. Insurance costs climb and fix shocks. A broken air system, water problem, building issues can cost $10,000 to $25,000 or more. In a setting where ready savings stay rare, these shocks break steady. This stays why housing choices have changed from wanna stay alive count. People do not pick areas for good things anymore. They pick them for money flow match. Smaller units, share people, many family together living, outside city far drives, short-time deals that can change back if the next paycheck falls short. Housing becomes able to change short time, able to go back. That change breaks groups. Long-time plans go away. Family starting choices wait or stop. The feeling hit stays strong. When shelter stays not sure, people begin to feel short time in their own lives. The steady that once helped careers, relations, good health has broken. And when housing stops being steady, everything else changes around it. Work choices change. Mind health gets worse. Time views shrink. People stop planning 5 years ahead. They plan for the next rent time. Once shelter becomes a limit instead of a place. Staying alive needs more than one pay, more than one job, more than one plan. Housing does not just answer money pressure. It makes it bigger. When housing takes the extra, healthcare ends the job. This stays where money tight turns not able to change back because medical costs do not come slow. They come as shocks. And in a system already tight, shocks become end. Healthcare no longer works as safe. It works as open danger. Insurance pay has risen far faster than pay, with work plans and single coverage climbing 20 to 40% in just a few years. For many families, monthly pay alone now match car payments, often landing between $600 and $1,200 before a single service used. That cost buys way in, not safe. The real hurt starts after coverage begins. Take away first amounts of $5,000 to $9,000 stay now normal. Share insurance moves risk back onto people. Out-of-pocket highest quietly change back each year. What this creates stays a system where being covered does not stop money hurt. It weights it. Medical care becomes a time problem, not a fixed one. This pressure links directly to housing, not steady. When rent takes most pay, there stays no extra left for health events. A single emergency, surgery, pictures, long treatment can go beyond a whole year's extra cash. Medical debt becomes not able to avoid, and unlike buyer spending, it grows through taking, credit hurt, and pay-take risk. Age makes the trap worse. Workers too young for Medicare but too old to take pay jumps face the steepest drop. Help money end before retirement right begins. Monthly costs jump hundreds of dollars overnight, forcing not possible choices. Coverage versus housing, treatment versus rent. This stays not bad handling. It stays built-in leaving. Healthcare also makes job fear bigger. Work becomes tied not just to pay but to staying alive itself. Losing a job does not just danger housing, it dangers way to care. This locks people into not steady work, stops moving, and makes tired stronger. The work system becomes a medical hold situation. This stays why healthcare does not just take money, it breaks trust. People wait care, they give less treatment. They carry not treated conditions until emergencies force action. The cost pays later at higher prices with worse ends. And once health becomes short time, staying alive needs something more dangerous than work or housing change. Debt. When care must pay with money, the system crosses its final line. Healthcare does not tight the economy quietly. It cuts it clean. When healthcare takes ready money, debt steps in as the new blood flow. This stays the moment the system quietly turns. Credit stays no longer used to better lives or make time smooth. It becomes the way that keeps people fed, housed, and working. Debt stops being choice and starts being needed for life. This change stays not small. Family debt in the United States now goes beyond $18 trillion, with credit card balances alone pushing past $1.3 trillion. But the makeup matters more than the total. This stays not borrowing for homes, education, or growth. This stays borrowing to close spaces that pay no longer covers. Food, power, insurance, rent short, costs that used to pay with pay now get money help. The system calls this freedom. In truth, it stays a change of staying alive into interest-paying duty. Credit cards with 20 to 30% yearly cost, part pay plans, and short-time money tools step in where paychecks fall short. What looks like spending stays actually weighted, not able to pay. Each use pushes the problem forward, adding cost, fees, and growing risk. This stays where buy now, pay later stops being a store thing and becomes an economy sign. When a growing share of families' money help food, house things, and power, it shows that cash flow has failed. Checks now show roughly 1 in 4 Americans using part pay for food. That stays not buyer trust. It stays buyer tired. The danger grows fast. Debt paid staying alive has no good side. There stays no thing made, no work gain, no future return. Every dollar borrowed simply keeps the present same while making the future weaker. Unlike normal credit times, there stays no get better part built into this way. Payback needs pay growth that does not exist. This links directly to work not steady. As job cuts rise and hours change, lowest payments become fixed. While pay becomes not sure, missed payments fall into punishments, rate rises, and credit score hurt. Credit stops working as a bridge and becomes a trap. Once balances rise, families lose way to cheaper borrowing, locking them into high-cost debt forever. This also explains the false picture seen in economy numbers. Buyer spending looks strong, but only because debt hides shrink. Store sales stay high while savings rates fall. What looks like want stays actually use of money power. The system stays eating future buying to keep the look of steady today. The feeling change stays strong. Debt for staying alive changes actions. People stop planning long time. They stop thinking in years and start thinking in pay times. Every choice becomes answer. Stress grows not from extra, but from numbers. When every month starts in a hole, hope becomes not real. This debt pressure also goes into housing, and health ends without saying again their ways. Rent becomes harder to cover because lowest payments take cash flow. Medical care waits because ready credit already full. The system tightens from every side, leaving no way out. At large size, this becomes system danger. Money givers think payback based on work steady that no longer exists. Not pay does not rise slow. They group. When enough families reach full at the same time, credit markets tighten, limits shrink, and way goes away. The very tools people depend on for staying alive pull back at the worst time. This stays the final turn. Debt once sold as power becomes the proof of fall. An economy where millions must borrow to eat stays not growing. It stays eating itself. And when staying alive depends on credit instead of pay, one final change follows. People stop wanting, stop buying, and stop trusting. Want does not just weaken, it feeling shuts down. Debt keeps spending alive machine way, but it kills it feeling way. This stays where the system reaches its most dangerous part. Not fall through worry, but fall through not care. Want does not go away all at once, it goes away inside. At first, people cut extras, then they wait buys, then they stop caring. What looks like strong in sales numbers stays actually tired in families. Spending continues, but meaning goes away. The buyer economy does not stop because people cannot buy. It stops because they no longer want to. This change stays measurable. Personal savings rates have fallen near history lows, staying around 3 to 4% while turning credit climbs. Buyers spend without extra, without safe, without hope. Store prices stay high, but amount sales flat. Businesses answer not by lowering prices, but by making smaller products, lowering good, and pushing money help harder. This speeds up no instead of get better. Here stays the key link. Debt-based staying alive changes mind. When every buy ties to interest, lowest payments, and future stress, spending loses its good feel. The good feel circle that once drove buying breaks. People do not feel good, they feel count. Every deal becomes a reminder of weak. This stays why price rises now meet with no care instead of anger. When fast food meals come close to $40 to $50 for a family. When normal eating out goes beyond $20 to $30 per person. When basic store things get lower from not real high prices, buyers do not complain, they leave. The price stays not just high, it feels bad. That feeling break matters more than able to pay alone. Want fall stays not about pay alone. It stays about trust. Trust that prices show value. Trust that hard work leads to better. Trust that joining gets good. Once trust goes away, buyers leave mind way, even if they stay body present. Stores stay open, eating places stay staffed, but want stays gone. This also explains why normal help stories fail. Rate cuts, money back, or short time help think buyers wait to join again. They do not. They pull back. When people feel that every system, work, housing, healthcare, credit stays against them, spending becomes safe, not want good. The goal changes from good to herd control. Extra and choice areas feel this first. But it does not stop there. Middle brands lose meaning next. Then big market. Finally, even needed things face no as buyers change, wait, or lower buying full. This stays how price rises turns into shrink without prices falling right away. The economy becomes costly and empty at the same time. Companies wrong read this part always. They think weak want stays a selling problem, not a built-in one. More sales, more personal, more short-time hurry. But hurry does not work when the people stay tired out. When buyers already tight, pressure pushes away instead of brings. This feeling shut down also explains the not matching news. Record stock prices next to falling buyer feeling. Markets price ready money and good money. People feel cost and stress. The two can go apart short time but not forever. An economy cannot run on money power, spending, and feeling leave forever. As want falls feeling way, a second-order result comes. Self-loss. For many years, buying stayed how people marked better. Better homes, better cars, better times. When that way goes away, people stop measuring themselves against better. Life becomes same. Keep replaces want good. When one falls feeling way, joining becomes choice. This stays the final line. At this stage, people no longer try to make better inside the system. They decide whether to stay inside it at all. What follows stays not same. It splits three ways. Leave, get away, or break. Leave stays the clean answer. It appears first among those with move, skills, or savings still good. When the cost of staying goes beyond the cost of going, place becomes plan. The count stays no longer love country or politics. It stays numbers. Healthcare, housing, safe, education, and good life weigh against pay, taxes, and stress. When a family sees that $75,000 to $100,000 of pay hardly keeps staying alive home while much lower pay elsewhere can bring back steady, trust goes away, getaway takes a different form, it happens inside. People stay body present but pull back, money and mind weigh. They lower open, smaller lives, fewer duties, less buying, more not official, more cash avoid, more depend on other deals. This stays not lazy. It stays danger control. When systems punish joining, real actors make smaller joining. Break stays the end. When neither leave nor get away stays possible, this stays where pressure gathers. Money tight becomes always. Mind and body health get worse. Social trust goes away. Places lose good name. The system does not fall in one moment. It wears under always weight. Work done falls not because people stop working, but because tired becomes forever. These ways stay not right choices. They stay built-in answers to reasons. Economies shape actions. When reasons good pull back, people pull back. When hard work no longer increases safe, hard work stays given less. This stays not fight, it stays change. The numbers make stronger the path. Roughly 70% of economy work depends on buyer joining. That joining thinks belief in better, steady, and good. Once belief goes away, growth ways fail. Help slows, credit tightens, not pay rises. Governments answer with spending and debt, pushing nation duties past $38 trillion, while interest costs alone danger to go beyond $1 trillion each year. Each help buys time but makes weak worse. This stays where the false picture of control finally breaks. Rule tools depend on joining. Tax systems need pay. Help systems need able to pay. Work markets need hope. When enough people leave at the same time, the system does not crash. It stops. It becomes costly to keep and not possible to change fast. Social results follow. Family starting slows. Birth numbers fall. Skill ways break. Not official economies grow. Trust pulls back into smaller groups. Large systems depend on big size. People pull back to what they can personal control. That pullback stays quiet, not full of noise, and far more dangerous. This stays why the moment feels different. Past crises hurt wealth. This one hurts belief. Wealth can build again. Belief cannot force. Once people decide that the future will not good hard work, the deal stays broken. What stays left stays a making smaller set of choices. Change big, leave full, or take the hurt until something gives. This stays not a warning about tomorrow. This stays a picture of now. And systems do not last when people stop trusting, they stay worth lasting in.